Fantastic. Thank you, Chris. Hi, I'm Ann Scanello, and I'm a tutor with the Seeds of Literacy. This lesson is on reading and writing vowel digraphs. I think of it as kind of part 2 to the lesson I did last week on basic vowel sounds. We talked last week about the vowels in the English language are A, E, I, O, U, and sometimes Y. We learned that each vowel has got a short and a long sound, and also that the position of a vowel in a word will show you which of its sounds to use. Remember, the short sound will be used when you've got a vowel followed by a consonant, all within either a very short word or a single syllable or one part of a word. Examples would be like the word cod. We've got a vowel followed by a consonant, so our O is short. Same thing in the word strip, a vowel followed by a consonant, so our vowel sound is short. Vowels also have long sounds, and you will hear their long sound when we have a vowel, a consonant, and then the letter E, which will be silent within a syllable or within a short word. Examples are the word code. We've got a vowel, consonant, and E that's silent. And the word stripe. We have a vowel, a consonant, and an E that's silent. So really the only difference between the words code and stripe from the words cod and strip are that there is a silent E at the end of code and stripe, changing that vowel sound. In addition, the long sound will be used when it comes at the end of a word or at the end of a syllable, which a syllable, again, is just a part of a word. For instance, in the word me, hi, no, or cry, the vowel is the last letter, and so it's going to make its long sound. In the word baby, this is a 2-syllable word. We have bay and bee. Both of those syllables end in a vowel sound, and so our vowel sound is long. That's a lot to take in, but honestly, that's only the beginning of the vowel sounds in the English language. Today, we're going to cover something called the R-controlled vowels, and then also vowel digraphs. And then in addition to that, I've got some more vowel sounds. We're going to cover close to 30 different vowel sounds today. So much more than you could learn or memorize just by watching a couple of videos one time. I'm using the materials from the Wilson Language Program, and in that program, but I don't want to imply that this is a Wilson language lesson. In that program, there are sound cards and there is a script, and it is designed to be practiced 3 times a week for years. It could be, some people master it in 2 years, but there are other students that might take 5 or 6 years. So I've reproduced some of those sound cards, and I've also given you picture cards. In order to truly learn all of the vowel sounds, it might be worthwhile to go back and review that script and practice that until you have them committed to your memory. Okay, but let's talk about R-controlled vowel sounds now. When the letter R comes after or follows a vowel, it changes what it's going to say. Let's start with AR. Most of the time when you see AR in a word, it's going to say R, like it does in the word car. Now, sometimes when you say AR at the end of a longer word, a multi-syllable word, instead of saying R, it's going to say There are those weird situations where AR is in the middle of a word, but it says or, like the word warm. On the sound cards, the first sound listed is always going to be the most common sound. AR saying warm saying the or sound, that is very rare. And that's not something we're going to practice a lot. Eventually, your brain will have those words memorized as you read more and more. But let's practice the sound card. When we see the sound card, we would say AR, car, R, AR, beggar, AR, warm, or. But just like last week, our brain should be thinking AR, car, R, AR, beggar, AR, warm, or, because the pictures help to program our brain a different way. So instead of, when we're going through the script, instead of looking at just the words, we need to be looking at the pictures to get it into our brain. The next R-controlled sound that we want to talk about is the ER. ER always says like the word her. And when you hear in a word, if you're spelling, it will be spelled ER most of the time. If you're spelling a word and you hear if you will use ER to spell even if you've misspelled it, like for instance, that word beggar, even if you've misspelled it, people will understand what you have written. And if you're typing, the autocorrect will make that correction for you. So ER says and is the most common way to spell it. Okay, the sound card says ER, her, and our brain should be thinking ER, her, IR is another R-controlled vowel. IR also says We have many ways to spell in the English language, not as common as the ER though. Sound card says IR, bird, Our brain should be thinking IR, bird, OR is another R-controlled vowel. OR usually says or, like the word horn. But if OR is at the end of a multisyllable word, it also can say like the word doctor. OR also can say in the middle of a word, like the word worm. OR saying in the middle of the word is very rare. And so if you hear in the middle of the word, go ahead and just spell it with an ER. That's why we have autocorrect. Okay, sound card says OR, horn, OR, doctor, OR, worm, Our brain should be thinking OR, horn, OR, doctor, OR, worm, And of course we have UR. UR always says Sound card says UR, burn, Our brain should be thinking UR, burn, Okay, now we need to practice. I've selected a page where all of these R sounds are mixed up. These are real words, and so chances are that your brain is going to have many of these memorized, so it probably will be less difficult than some of our other practice pages. When you turn the video off to practice it, if you're concerned about pronouncing the words correctly, you could ask a friend to listen in and just reaffirm you of your pronunciations. I'm not going to read this page when you turn it back on. Okay, turn the video off and practice. The video is turned back on now. Our next practice page is going to be full of nonsense words. These are not real words, and your brain has never seen any of these words and therefore doesn't have them memorized. These are much more difficult. When you turn the video off to practice and then turn it back on, I am going to read this list out loud just so that you can make sure that you are correctly pronouncing the words. Now, many of these nonsense words have got like an AR or an OR that we know can make multiple sounds. We're going to use their normal sound or their most common, the first sound listed on the sound cards. Okay, go ahead and turn the video off and practice. Video is back on now, and I'm going to read these nonsense words aloud for you. We have quirst, farp, blurk, scorf, flurm, sturb, dorp, swert, sparn, hirsch, flirp, shern, smarch, borst, and spurf. Now, this is another list, and this is all AR and OR words, but they're multi-syllable words, longer words, where AR or OR is the last sound. ER is still the most common way to spell but when you're reading and you see AR or OR at the end of a long word, you do need to be aware that it sometimes will say These are real words. When we turn the video off, I want you to practice, and I want you to remember that the AR and OR at the end will say When we turn it back on, I am going to read these words aloud because this is a little more difficult list. Go ahead and turn the video off and practice. Video is back on now. This word is beggar, inspector, flavor, motor, favor, doctor, tractor, major, seller, conductor, dollar, harbor, razor, minor, vinegar. And we've got another big group of sounds, vowel sounds, and they're called vowel digraphs. That's when we have two vowels working together to make a single vowel sound. First one we're going to talk about is A and I working together. When AI are together, they're going to make the A sound. Our sound card says AI bait A. Our brain needs to be thinking AI bait A. Another vowel digraph is AY. It also says A. Sound card says AY play A. Your brain should be thinking AY play A. Let's do a practice page. These are all real words, so in most cases, your brain, there's a good chance you have them memorized. So I'm not going to read this aloud. Go ahead and pause the video and practice. Video's back on now. This is a list of nonsense words. Your brain has never seen these and they've never been memorized. Turn the video off and practice, and when you resume, I will read this list aloud. Go ahead and turn the video off. Video is back on now. This is trape, che, parme, blanty, glame, zane, distray, cailt, tway, invade, ploquet, glay, debray, incray, mainter. Next vowel digraph, two E's. When you see two E's, they're going to make the long E sound. E-E, jeep, E. But your brain should be thinking E-E, jeep, E. EY is another vowel digraph. When they are together, they also say E. EY, valley, E. EY, valley, E. These are real words. When we turn the video off, I want you to practice these words. I won't be reading these when we turn it back on. Turn the video off and practice. Video is back on now. These are nonsense words. When you turn the video off to practice and then turn it back on, I will read these words aloud. Go ahead and turn the video off and practice. Video is back on now. This is feet, dreef, breep, darsley, botley, durkey, bleeth, feed, mally, tonky, slokey, meech, heath, sleater, drawley, Next vowel digraph is OA. OA together is going to make the O sound like in boat. Sound card says OA boat O. Our brain should be thinking OA boat O. Also have the OE, makes the long O sound like toe. Sound card says OE toe O. Our brain should be thinking OE toe O. There's also UE. UE has two sounds, but they are very, very similar. It says oo, as in the word blue, and then it also says U, as in the word Q. Sounds are so similar. Most of my students, they remember one or the other, and they're still able to read the words. So the sound card says UE blue, oo, UEQ, U. Your brain should be thinking UE blue, oo, UEQ, U. Okay, we need to practice. These are real words, and we've mixed up a couple of these sounds, the OA and the OE. When you practice these and resume the video, I won't read these out loud. Go ahead and turn the video off and practice. Video is back on now. This is a list of UE words. They, again, are real words. These are a little more difficult. They're longer words. They're not as common. So when you turn this video back on, I will be reading these words aloud. Go ahead and turn the video off and practice. Video is back on now. These words are ensue, residue, hue, imbue, review, construe, venue, slew, sue, flew. And honestly, I can't read that one on my screen. Cue, revenue, accrue, and fondue.
The top one was subdue.
Subdue was that top one. Got it blocked here. Okay, these are nonsense words, and we've mixed up OA, OE, and UE. So when I turn the video off to practice, I will read the words aloud for you when you turn it back on. Go ahead and turn off and practice. Video is back on now. This is brome, dro, skoke, roth, stro, plow, inrote, drossrote, maloo, trondu, slote, trost, coes, clue, and clo. OI is another vowel digraph. When the O and the I are together, they make the oi sound, as in the word coin. So our sound card says, OI, coin, oi. Our brain should be thinking, OI, coin, oi. OY also says the oi sound, as in the word boy. Typically, when we hear oi at the end of the word, it will be spelled OY. In the middle of a word, it will be spelled OI. Middle or beginning of a word, it will be spelled OI. But that's not a hard and fast rule. That's just generally. So our sound card here says OY, boy, oi. Our brain should be thinking OY, boy, oi. This is another practice page. These are real words, so when you turn off the video to practice, when you turn it back on, I won't be reading these aloud. Go ahead and turn the video off and practice these words. The video is back on now. This is a list of nonsense words that your brain does not have memorized. After you practice, I will read these aloud. Go ahead and turn the video off and practice. Video is back on now. This is foy, bonvoy, toid, hoist, doy, point, hoil, inloy, choiler, folkoi, Des Moines, broint, stroy, coimer, and lois. AU is another vowel digraph. When you see an AU together, they make the ah sound like we hear in the word autumn. So the sound card says AU, autumn, ah, and your brain should be thinking AU, autumn, ah. AW also makes the ah sound as in the word saw. Again, typically when we hear ah at the end of a word, it's spelled AW. When we hear it at the beginning or the middle of a word, it's going to be spelled AU. But again, that's a generalization, not always the case. So this sound card says AW saw ah, but our brain should be thinking AW saw ah. These are real words. When you turn the video off, you're going to practice these. I'm not going to read this list back when we turn it back on. Go ahead and turn off and practice. The video is back on now. It's a list of nonsense words. And so it's mixed with AU and AW words. When you turn the video off to practice, I will read this list to you when you turn it back on. Go ahead and practice. Video is back on now. This word is psalm, almond, pop, trom, son, chaw, bost, indaw, blah, staw, pawn, trod, chaw, craw, lotch. OU is another vowel digraph. OU has two sounds. OU might say ow, as in the word trout, or it might say oo, as in the word soup. OU almost always says ow. It's when you hear ow in the middle of the word or at the beginning of the word, typically it's spelled OU. I just need you to be aware that it can also say ooh, like soup, but that is uncommon. So the sound card said, OU trout, ow, OU soup, ooh. Your brain should be thinking, OU trout, ow, OU soup, ooh. OW also says ow, and when we hear ow at the end of a word, it typically is spelled OW, but that's a generalization, doesn't always hold true. But OW also has a second sound that is very, very common, which is O. So both of the sounds, the OW saying O and OW saying ow, are probably equally common. So this is one of those you really might have to try it both ways. So our sound card says OW snow O, OW plow ow. Our brain should be thinking OW snow O, OW plow ow. Okay, these are OU and OW words mixed up. They're telling you that all of these words, you're going to hear the ow sound. They're real words, so I'm not going to read this list back to you. Go ahead and pause the video and read this list. The video is back on now. These are nonsense words. We're going to read them through. The first time, the OW is always saying ow. The second time through, I want you just to read the OW words, but we're going to pronounce it O. Whenever you see OU, always say ow. It will sometimes in the English language say ooh, but that is rare. So we're not going to practice that today. Okay, remember when you turn this one off, you're going to read OU as ow, you're going to read OW as owl, but then you're going to do a second reading, and this time all of the OW words will be O, and I will read these aloud to you when you're finished. Go ahead and turn off the video and practice. Video is back on now. Okay, these nonsense words. This is slough, drow, smown, browl, crown, flouser, raup, sloosh, drounce, slound. I can't see that one, Chris.
Jown. Jown.
Down, smoop, croust, blouder, and strouth. I'm going to read them through again, just the OW words with the O sound. This could be dro, smone, browel, and bloater.
And on the top, Jown. So that could be Joan.
Joan. Oh, I couldn't see that one was an OW. That could have been Joan. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
OO is another vowel digraph, and it also has two sounds. Sometimes OO sounds like school, where it says oo. Sometimes OO sounds like book, So the sound card is going to be OO school, OO book, You're thinking in your brain, OO school, OO book, In this list, they will all with OO will always say oo, like the first word is moose or like school. These are real words, so I'm not going to read this list aloud for you. Go ahead and turn off the video and practice. The video is back on now. The next vowel digraph is EA. EA is very, very tricky. Most of the time, EA says E as in the word eat, but it also sometimes says as in the word bread. And weirdly, it has a third sound of A as in the word steak. While while eat or E is its most common sound, there are enough words where it says and A that you really need to be aware of that. When you're sounding out a word and you see EA and you try E and the word doesn't make sense, you need to know to try and to try A as second and third choices. So this sound card says EA eat, EA bread, EA steak, A. Your brain should be thinking EA eat, EA bread, EA steak, A. In this list, all of the EAs are going to make the E sound. They're real words, but it's a more difficult list and they're longer words. So I will read this list to you when you turn the video back on. Go ahead and turn the video off and practice. Video is back on now. First word is treason, beaker, dealer, leaflet, unseat, weasel, heathen, eastward, appease, crease, conceal, misdeal, entreat, mistreat, displease. In this list, the EA always makes the A sound. They're real words, but when you turn the video back on, I'm going to read this list aloud to you. Go ahead and turn the video off and practice. Video is back on now. This is steak, wear, hair, unbearable, forbear, great, tear, swear, bearskin, underwear, break, bear, greatly, breakable, overbear. Over time, you're going to memorize the words where EA says the A sound, and it won't be so tricky. In this list, the EA says the sound. Again, it's not its most common sound, but it's important that you be able to read these words. They're real words. You're going to practice the list on your own, but I will read this list aloud to you when we turn the video back on. Turn the video off and practice. The video is back on now. This is threat. This is endeavor, heavenly, leaven, pheasant, tread, dread, weapon, steadfast, leapt, steadfast, breast, heather, threaten, and treadle. UI is another vowel digraph. This one's a little simpler again. UI says ooh, as in the word suit. Sound card says UI suit, ooh. Your brain is thinking UI suit, ooh. EU also has two sounds. It says, as in the word feud, it says ooh, or is in the word deuce, it says ooh. So sound card says EU feud you, EU deuce ooh. Very similar sounds. If you remember either one of those, you'll probably be able to decode words. The brain is thinking EU feud you, EU deuce ooh. EW also says you and ooh. Typically, when you hear that sound at the end of the word, it's spelled EW. When you hear it at the beginning or middle of a word, it's going to be spelled EU. Again, that's a generalization and doesn't always hold true. Sound card says EW few you, EW grew ooh. Brain is thinking EW few you, EW grew ooh. These are EU and UI words. They're a little more difficult. So after you turn the video off, the real words, you're going to practice all of the words. When you turn it back on, I'm going to read them aloud to you. Go ahead and turn the video off and practice. Video is back on now. This word is cruise, suitcase, eulogy, Eugene, Eunice, sluice, feudal, brute, cruiser, bruiser, juicy, bruise, Euclid, lawsuit, recruitment. These are EW words. They are going to say you or ooh. These are real words. After you practice this slide, I'm not going to read this one aloud. Go ahead and turn the video off and practice. The video is back on now. I'm going to read just a couple of these words because they are unusual. This word is askew. This word is eschew. I've never heard of this word. Juga. I don't know what that is. We've got shrewd, steward, and hewn. EI is another vowel digraph. Unfortunately, the last 4 sounds I have for us are advanced lessons, and I don't have the practice materials. I still wanted to expose you to the sound card and help you to memorize the different sounds they can make. So EI might say E as in ceiling, or it might say A as in vein. It usually says E like ceiling, but A like vein is also very common. This is another one you'll probably have to use both sounds when you're learning new words. Sound card says EI ceiling E, EI vein A. Your brain should be thinking EI ceiling E, EI vein A. IE is another vowel digraph. IE always says E as in the word peace. So the sound card says I-E, peace, E. Your brain is thinking I-E, peace, E. Even more vowel sounds. The next two and the final two sounds are not vowel digraphs because it's not two vowels together. It's a vowel combined with some consonants. Again, I don't have the practice materials for these, but I wanted to expose you to the vowel sounds because they're fairly common. First one is IGH. When you see IGH in a word, it's going to make the I sound like we hear in the word light. Sound card says IGH, light I. Our brain is thinking IGH, light I. The next one is EIGH. When we see EIGH in a word, it's going to make the long A sound as in the word eight. So the sound card says EIGH, 8A. Our brain should be thinking EIGH, 8A. Sorry I didn't have the practice materials for those. Today, we have done a lot. We have added 27 new vowel sounds. Can't see what that says. 27 new vowel sounds to our vocabulary, and we've gone way beyond just the basic short and long sounds that must be memorized. We need to practice all of the vowel sounds using the picture pages that I have in the video. Continue practicing those until you have them memorized. This is almost all of the vowel sounds in the English language. There are a few more rare exceptions, but those are things that your brain will just memorize once you've been exposed to them in your reading and you've practiced them enough that way. Anyway, I hope this was helpful, and see you next time. Thank you. Want me to